new standards in some ways set in the Premier League last season for promoted sides. 2 of the 3 managed to survive the drop. They did better than just survive the drop, in fact, because Sunderland have got European football back at the stadium. Like Leeds had a really good season as well. They both did splash the cash a bit, though, didn't they, Gabby? Do you have to, if you're a newly promoted side, do you have to spend big to stay up?
I think you do. I think you spend big, but spend wisely. That's what Sunderland did. They spent big, but they spent on quality and players that performed that season. And even the clever signing of Xhaka, that just set it all off, didn't it?
Brilliant
Experience, still a top player. I look at some of the teams that have come up, Coventry, Hull, Ipswich. Ipswich have been the busiest. I look at Fataru, 20 million from Leicester. Emerson, don't know much about, 24 million from Toulouse. Akpom is a player that he can perform, but he's never really done it in the Premier League.
No, he hasn't.
Want to look at Maeda will be exciting. I'm sure he'll be a headache for defenders, especially the way these Premier League defenders are playing out the back. If you get that wrong, he's going to be one pressing your centre half. Diop as well. He's an experienced defender, playing for Morocco in the World Cup. Done well, didn't he? At Fulham as well. So I think Ipswich are the team for me out of the 3 that have got promoted have done the best business so far. But we still got just under a month left of the transfer.
Yeah,
I'm sure Coventry will bring in many players.
Well, Coventry being linked obviously with Mikhailo Mudryk, and also I think they're on the verge of signing Carl Rushworth, who was on loan from Brighton, to the goalkeeper, excellent goalkeeper as well. Let's hear from the Coventry captain Matt Grimes, who talked to talkSPORT exclusively yesterday. He's aware of all the challenges his side will face this season.
I think, well, like you say, we're probably going to have less of the ball than we had this year. But it's just kind of accepting that and accepting that there are times where you're going to have to suffer, especially playing against the big boys. But yeah, it's a challenge that we're all looking forward to. I think you work your whole life and your whole career to try and get into this point now. So you just have to enjoy it and give it your everything and see where it takes you. I mean, the level is obviously that much higher and you're playing against some of the best players in the world, but there's a reason you're here. You've been promoted out of the Championship, and the reason we're all here is because obviously we've been deemed good enough. So yeah, it's an exciting challenge.
You know, Gabby, I'm not pretending I saw a lot of Coventry last season.
Yes.
But things in their favour. Obviously, Frank Lampard is one. But 2, from what I've seen of them, their set plays are really important to them, both defensively and in an attacking sense. And that would suit them well in the Premier League.
100%. Your set pieces are so important. You're seeing set piece coaches now with release clause in their contracts. Look at Austin McPhee from Aston Villa. It's important. I remember, was it Hans Postecoglou? Do you remember his little rant like, don't believe in set-piece coaches? Soon changed his mind on that. They're important, defending and attacking set-pieces. But I look at Coventry as well, and they've got a manager who knows the Premier League better than anyone. Like his career as a player, he's done it as a manager as well. They won't be naive. You know, some teams will come up, Jeff, and they'll still try and play the same football. They'll try and play open football like Southampton did. They won't do that, Coventry. No. They'll be streetwise, and a lot of their players will be itching, Jeff. I want to do it in the Premier League. This is a dream. I'm in the big time now. Is it going to be a lot harder? Of course it is. There's no room for mistakes. You're not going to have as much time on the ball in the Championship. But a lot of these Coventry players are going to be itching to show that they're good enough to do it in the Premier League. And the manager, I think, Lampard, will have faith in a lot of them.
I think the other encouragement for all of those 3 promoted sides is there are going to be other candidates. I'm out looking through relegation candidates. And you know, fans not going to be happy. Palace, new manager. They've sold Lacroix, no signings through the door. Fulham, unproven manager. They lost Jimenez, Wilson, Diop, Chukwueze. Sunderland, brilliant season last season. Can they cope with that second season syndrome? Plus Europe, Brentford. Just because they're Brentford, to be brutally honest, you know. And every year we talk, and there are lots of alternatives, aren't there?
Yeah, I think Fulham is one that scares me if I'm a Fulham fan. I look at what Marco Silva got, that extra percentage of all those players. Like you said, Jimenez, Wilson, Diop, Chukwueze gone as well. New manager, really, what has he done? You know, struggles when you come in at Real Madrid. And he signed 2 players today, hasn't he? Garcia and Palacios. Garcia got 6 goals in 30 appearances last season in La Liga, and Palacios, 5 appearances, 0 goals. Combined fee of nearly 50 million for both of them.
Yeah.
La Liga's different to the Premier League. You know, it's going to be really tough for those players. We'll see how they got on with a physical league like the Premier League.
Yeah.
But new manager as well, like a lot of the unknown with Agbonlahor.
Yeah.
So you could see you could see it, Jeff. That Fulham struggle.
You can say the same as well about Bournemouth, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, new manager there, and I mentioned Sunderland got European football, was so have Bournemouth.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last couple of seasons, so many have left, and this time around they've lost Senesi.
Krupi's out for a while.
Yeah, Krupp is out for a while.
Injury.
They may yet lose Alex Scott.
Yes.
You know, because there'll be so many admirers for him. You wonder how they will cope with all of that.
Yeah, and like you said, European football, couple of injuries, Jeff, and the squad size look thin, and you've got a game on Thursday, and you travel back, and you've got a tough game on the Sunday. Sometimes European football can be a bad thing. It was Burnley, wasn't it? They struggled.
Yeah.
Didn't they, with the European football in the Premier League?
A lot of sides do.
Yeah.
If you haven't got that size of squad, how do you think Newcastle are going to do?
I think they'll be down there. I don't see them as having a season as bad as Spurs have the last 2 seasons, but I don't see them in the top half. Nowhere near. I feel that fan base as well are angry. They're angry at what's happening with their football club. They're angry at losing all their players, signing young players. They're all dressed in Saudi Arabian attire, wasn't they? When the owners come in, they were thinking, yes, we're going to go for Mbappe, we're going to get Neymar, we're going to get all these big players. Now, there's no European football this season. Just lost your manager. You brought in a manager who's managed in the Saudi League. It could start to turn a bit toxic there. You know, if they start to lose a few of their early games, Jeff, and Joe Linton's wanting to get out as well. It's like, this isn't what Newcastle fans thought was going to happen, did they?
They've spent a lot of money, but they spent a lot of money. Yeah, obviously they're changing, you know, their entire approach to the transfer market. Spent a lot of money on young, unproven sorts, and which is great. But if things don't go well in the early stages, then that could have an impact.
And also,
itself.
Let's not forget, as much as the problems and the financial fair play rules, and they've lost this player and that player, they didn't buy well last summer. Voltemada, Wissa, Elanga.
Yeah.
Over 160 million for those 3 players. None of them produced last season.
Yeah.
So they've got to step up, all 3 of them, because Wissa looked very sharp for Congo at the World Cup. Can he bring that form for the World Cup into next season? Jacob Ramsey's probably the only one who had a decent season last season. So those 3 signings have to step up.
Yeah. Completely agree. And of course, we talk about relegation. Well, you can never leave Spurs out of the equation, can you? I'm only joking.
Well, it's recent form, isn't it?
Oh, no.
Last 2 seasons, relegation
Spurs,
battle.
I see Spurs being top 6 or 7.
Yes, I do as well.
Yeah.
Top manager.
Yeah. Good manager and some good signings
and players
so
back
far
from injury
as well. Yeah,
Maddison.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, he could be a big player for them. But I like some of the signings as well.
Agreed.
Particularly Van Hecker and Senesi at the back.
Tonali.
And Tonali, yeah, needs to have a better season than he did with Newcastle last season.
Agreed.
He wasn't great.